As the quarterback, the leader of the team, you don't necessarily have to. So that, I saw a lot of growth just with that one fact alone. So
You guys, you always talk about how it's just your job to catch the ball, and it doesn't really matter which quarterback is throwing it to you. But in that particular game, it looked like there were probably about like a half a dozen drops like that, just amongst the pass catchers. What's your sort of philosophy on that when you have a new young quarterback in there and there's drop passes? Is it hard to adjust to a different ball coming in, or is that just like you just got to figure it out and catch the darn ball?
yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, if you drop the ball, it's only for one reason. Because you didn't catch. No, just like, but no, it's because I mean, if you have a drop, that means it hit your hands and you didn't catch it. So, I mean, ultimately, you can never blame a drop on the quarterback.
And the one that was the interception, what happened on that? Was that just I couldn't tell. Did that go off? Was that real high? It went up in the air?
No, on the interception, that was I believe our one turnover in the game. I was supposed to have stronger hands there and just catch the ball.
When you look at that Broncos defense, how good do you think Sertan is?
I think he's real good. I mean, I would expect nothing less, the son of an all-pro corner. So I actually, was a Dolphins fan growing up because I'm from Miami. So I watched him a little bit.
And then Simmons, the other guy that jumps out to you when you look at that second.
Yeah, Simmons actually jumps out a lot. I've been competing against him since I was at the Raiders because they were in the division. One of the things that stands out with him is, his ability to come down with the ball. Jump ball situations, generally the corners and especially the safeties don't have as much ball skills as us receivers. So you don't quite expect them to come down with a jump ball. But he's the type of player who can definitely accomplish that if given the opportunity. So, knowing that going into the game, just have to be, cognizant of it. If you're in a jump ball situation, make sure you're high pointing the ball, make sure you're using all your fundamentals.
Amari, when we talked to Kevin, you mentioned the amount of takeaways Denver's been getting recent weeks. So for you and the other receivers, what can you guys do to help DTR take care of the football?
Yeah, the same thing I just mentioned, fundamentals, making sure we come back to the ball, every chance we get, not just standing there after we break off of our routes, actually coming back to the ball, cutting off the ability of the cornerback to undercut the ball, high pointing the ball, making sure we're assignment sound, make sure we know the game plan so there's as little mistakes as possible. Make sure we have strong hands, all the so-called little things, we have to make sure we're on it.
One of the best aspects of your guys' offense this season has been the deep ball to you. Is it important to still try to hit those shots even against a team that has so many takeaways and so many interceptions? Do you still have to kind of be aggressive, you think, and go for those explosives?
No, of course. A huge aspect of this game is field position. That's what you're fighting for at all times. You're fighting for great field position because the probability of getting points when you have good field position goes way up. And a great way of doing that is getting chunks, instead of just getting 3 or 4 yards of play. Trying to get some explosives when the opportunity is there so that you can have great field position, get a field goal, and ultimately a touchdown.
Mark, what does it mean to bring a guy like Joe Flacco in? Not necessarily that he's going to play right away, but somebody who's as experienced as he's been and kind of done it all in the league.
Yeah, I think it's a phenomenal idea. Obviously, Joe Flacco is a guy who, growing up, we all watched. And especially with, DTR back there, being such a young player, a rookie, just having guidance, more guidance. So I think it's a phenomenal idea.
How many times have you had to play in Denver? Not Mile High, air.
Yeah, I've played there quite a few times, at least once a year when I was at Oakland, obviously, and a couple more times after that once I got out of the division. So it's definitely a challenge. They have Mile High written all over the stadium and locker rooms as some sort of, tactic. But I mean, from my experience playing there, if you're in good shape, it doesn't affect you. If you're not in good shape, it does.
Hey, Mark, you guys are going to stay out there, right? Go to LA for that week. Have you ever done that before, and do you like that idea in the middle of the season?
Yeah, I have done that before. At Oakland, we always traveled 2 days before the game because of the time difference. Gives our body an opportunity to adapt, and the flights were always really long, 4 or 5 hours. So we would go there 2 days before just to make sure our bodies were right on the actual game day. But yeah, had a couple situations where we would play like the Dolphins and then Tampa the week after, so we just stay in Florida. Um, it's a change of pace, I would say. Practicing all week from a different spot, staying at a hotel, things of that nature. But at the same time, if that's a decision that was made by the coaching staff and everybody else, then I'm sure it's the right decision.
Out for the season, how do you feel about your guys' chances of still achieving all your hopes and dreams this season?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's very unfortunate, for Deshaun to be out for the season. He had surgery Tuesday. I called him, made sure he was all right. And it sucks, he really wants to play. He really wants to be here. He really wants to be around us. So it's a terrible thing, but that's why football is the biggest team game. We all have his back, and we gonna have to pull together. So ultimately, it just gives us a challenge and an opportunity to see how together we are as a team. So I like our chances. I think the camaraderie in the locker room has been great, and we've been able to come together and fight and be resilient in the games enough to win. So yeah.
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks.
How's their offense evolved, especially how they're using Russ since the beginning of the season?
We've been putting less on his plate. We're trying to incorporate more of their run game and trying to be a little bit more balanced in that way so he doesn't feel like he has to do absolutely everything. We know he's talented and he can win games for them by himself, but just allowing some guys to take some of that pressure off him.
And what are the things that make Russ so special and a cut above so many others?
Unique accuracy, being able to stay in the pocket, make throws, get out of the pocket, scramble, stay behind the line, make throws, but also get yards with his legs, unique vision, hit those long balls as well.
Obviously, the season's moving along. We're 10 games in. This is game 11. How's your body holding up compared to where you were at this point years past?
I feel terrible. Everything hurts, shoulder hurts, but we got to keep on going. Keep on rolling till the wheels fall off, man. We're having great success, and enjoying how this team is really coming together, especially down the stretch. And we're going to continue to keep on working hard to be fresh and fit whenever we get to Sundays.
Myles, you guys have always had to take on the next man up mentality with Denzel not being in the secondary. How can you guys up front offset not having him out there?
I mean, they make it easier for us when they, extend the amount of time that the quarterback has to hold the ball, and we make their jobs easier by getting to them quicker. So, we got to rush, with fanatical effort, continue to, keep on fighting. Don't have an internal clock. That this guy can extend plays and will extend plays. So, continue hunting.
You guys have a lot of momentum with the way you're playing. What's the message to the defense going on the road here?
The standard is a standard. We don't care about any weather, any altitude. We're going to continue to play at the same level, which we've been playing at, and if not better.
Myles, can you talk about the fact that you guys are embarking on another long road trip? This will be something like 30th, something like that, of the season. So leaving Saturday, not coming back until basically December 3rd. What are your thoughts on that? And do you think that this could be another team bonding experience to get you through the home stretch?
If we look at it that way, it could be, but it's a matter of using it as a business trip, not going out there and trying to kick it with your friends and get your mind off football. It's not the time for that. It's time to lock in, really gain that chemistry with your guys, whether offense, defense, special teams. Use this to your benefit, not your detriment, and allow this time to be beneficial, for all of us. Have another time like this where coach can believe that we can do the right thing and play the way we're supposed to.
Myles, what's come together for Denver offensively here? They had a real slow start to the season, but just in recent weeks they've kind of been picking things up. Just what are you seeing when you watch them on film?
They're taking the momentum from their defense and using it well. Defense is putting them in a great field position, and they're capitalizing on that. The defense is taking the ball away, I think, recently at the highest clip of anyone in the league. So, their offense is just being there for them, whether it's 3 or 6, they're putting points on the board, and once they continue to stack those big momentum plays, offense putting the ball in, that's when their defense can really go hunt. And I think that's really what has set them apart of late.
Do you have to treat Russell because of his mobility? Do you kind of treat him the same way you approach playing like against Lamar and some of these other mobile guys?
No. He don't move like Lamar. He moves like Russell. And there's no shame in that. He's been great at doing that.
Hey, did you chase after Joe Flacco just for old time's sake this week?
I stalked him a little bit. Just like
He was afraid of
3 yards behind him, just in case. He got any bright ideas.
He says
Give
you're
him a little
less.
chill.
He says you're less intimidating without the pads on in the locker room.
Right? I look like a regular guy on the street.
Hey, Myles, you guys have been the number one defense since week 1. What's the mentality as you carry that week in and week out?
That's just a planking and a ranking, but look at the film. We can always continue to be better, and you don't have to look at the stats because stats don't always tell the whole story. Did you do your best at play, and did you execute at the highest level? And if you can't say that you did or that you have, continue to improve, continue to elevate your brother, and we still have ways we can improve and even be greater as a defense. I think there's still another level, like I said, but everyone has to be accountable for that.
Why does it seem like that every player in this locker room, to a man, really has a firm belief that you guys are just going to keep rolling right along, even though you've lost so many elite players and now you're down to a rookie quarterback?
That's what the great teams do. They find a way to win. It's next man up mentality, and it's a matter of those guys completely believing that I'm up. This is my moment to shine. If you're on the field, it's your opportunity to make the most of it, to be that game changer, game wrecker, and continue to set the tone for yourself, for the team, and anyone else who steps up to the role.
A couple more. Will you be coming off the edge then on the field goal block without Denzel? Because you did that one game.
Well, you try to give away trades? It's my brother.
Well, then let me answer this. The one game when Denzel got hurt, you did it at least a couple of times. And usually guys your size aren't coming off the edge. So I guess how unique is that? And do you feel like you can come off the edge and get one?
I can definitely go off the edge and get one. It's just a matter of how much attention they're going to show me, whether he's going to fully commit and open up the gap for someone else, or he continues to play it as he normally would and allow me to dive and get one. So it's just been productive up to this point. So we may continue to look at it, but I might go back to my normal spot as well.
Myles, do you feel like a trip to LA, a week in LA, could potentially lend itself to guys maybe losing a little bit of focus on what's so important for you right now, and everybody kind of has to find it within themselves to buckle down and kind of forget that you're in LA, perhaps?
I think we'll do a good job of keeping everyone locked in. I think everyone knows what we're trying to achieve and what we're trying to do with this season, and no one's going there with the wrong mindset or intentions.
Myles, you guys talk a lot about mindset and how close you guys are as a unit. And I feel like it's maybe a little more prevalent in the college game there's that brotherhood in the locker room. The NFL is a little more of a, hey, we're here to do a job, and if we all like each other, that's a good thing. That culture that you guys have sort of established for yourself, how natural was that among you, and how much did you have to kind of work at that as a group to make this a team that you guys really enjoy being around?
I think that came very naturally. It's not a matter of continue to be that. There are going to be adversity on and off the field, and you have to continue to stay together as a brotherhood and as a team. That doesn't happen very often, at least from what I've seen on D-line or defensive side of the ball. So when you have a special sort of chemistry like that, you gotta hold on to it, and got to bring guys back and center them when we get away from who we are and what we've been throughout the season. So it's special, and we need to realize that, acknowledge it, and continue to use it to our benefit.
Is this a shoulder injury that you said hurt is bothering you a little bit? Is this something new from this season, or do you sort of have a leftover thing from last year?
I'm just old. Bravo was like, man, how old are you, 26? I was like, I'll be 28 by the end of the year. I appreciate looking like 26.
Thank you.
Thank you. 28 is not old for the record.
It is in this game.
It's a great honor. I just try and play the game the right way, and you know, just try and play the game the right way, and you know, respect the guys we're going against. We know it's a tough battle, but you play hard, and you can still, you know, take care of those guys and be respectful and enjoy the game.
How'd you find out?
Dan Murphy let me know, so that's always good. He's been my connection on quite a few of these, so Dan lets me know, and that was kind of how I found out.
Joe, is it a little strange seeing Joe Flacco in a Browns uniform?
Yeah, you know, I had a decent amount of games against him when he was, you know, on the Ravens. Obviously, last year when he was on the Jets. You know, seeing him at practice is definitely different, and it's one of those things where it might take a few practices to get used to.
Joe, after the game, you talked about the Steelers going bigger personnel to kind of slow down the run game last week. So, do you expect to see more of that? And if so, how do you counter that?
Yeah, you know, actually, the Broncos kind of similar scheme to like the Ravens and Steelers. You know, their base defense, 3 down. You know, but turns into 5 guys on the line basically, and so they have a ability to run that defense as well. And I'm sure we're going to get different looks at it. We're just trying to prepare and make sure we have the right, you know, plays in and the right game plan in case we do need to get bigger and make those things happen. But I think we'll see some growth with the offense just with Dorian getting another chance, another week, and having more time to throw in some new plays and stuff.
How do you feel about going on another long road trip and, you know, perhaps maybe doing some more team bonding as you guys head into the home stretch?
Yeah, it's, you know, I think if you asked me when I was like 22, when I first got in the league, I'd be like, that's great, you know. Now I got kids at home and stuff, so it's a little bit tough to leave the kids and the wife at home, you know, for a week. But we're gonna make the most of it. You know we got to beat Denver, and then from there we have a week in LA, and it's actually close to home. Back home for me, so you know, maybe my mom and brother and sister can come up and hang out a little bit. But as a team, we're gonna, you know, I think treat it like a normalish week, but we'll obviously have time to go to dinner and be around each other and just continue to learn. And Coach kind of went over last week. We have a bunch of guys that weren't there when we went to the Greenbrier, so we're kind of bringing those guys along too. It's a you know, the NFL is unfortunately a revolving door of guys getting hurt and bringing guys in and stuff like that. So we have a new team almost, you know, every week, and so you bring someone else new in. But it'll be good. It'll be good to be around the guys, and hopefully we can, you know, have a good time out there.
What do you think you guys have been able to withstand everything that you have withstood? I mean, you've been hearing, you've seen this stuff that in other years would derail seasons, but yet you guys seem to have found a way to be resilient. What do you think has been the difference for you guys?
I think it's a testament. It starts at the top. You know, Andrew Berry and Coach Stefanski, they have built a strong team, you know, with depth and guys that can come in and step in and make plays. And then it speaks to guys' resilience and understanding, like, we don't have everybody out there, but we have the right guys. We have the right guys out there. And we understand, you know, we wish we had our full strength of guys. Like, it'd be great to go in with Deshaun and Nick and Jack and Jed on offense. But we don't have that, and we have, you know, other guys that are stepping up and making plays for us, and we try not to look too far ahead. We just try and go 1-0 this week, every week, and when we do that, I think we're focused and we're determined, and we know we have enough out there to win and compete.
How's Jerron gotten more comfortable less good?
Yeah, he, you know, that first start was, I still think, pretty dang impressive. Like, you know, you come off the street, you come in, you start a game against one of the better defenses in the league. You know, I think there were 1 or 2 at the time, you know, with Cleveland. And you come in, you play that game, and you get a big win, and then you have to go against Pittsburgh and their edge rushers. So he's had a fast couple weeks, but he got drafted in Washington with Callahan, so he had a little bit of experience with working with Coach Callahan and stuff. But he's done a great job. He's gotten a bunch of reps, and it's really been impressive. I've been impressed with his work ethic and his just, you know, ability to learn the offense and try and get an understanding. But I think he's getting more and more comfortable, and hopefully, you know, we keep playing together, you know, as long as Jed's still working back, and we can keep improving.
Dwan coming back, how that has to be A huge shot in the arm also.
Yeah, DeJuan's working hard to be 100% and make those plays. But he's a good player. He I think you see his pass protection is pretty impressive with his size and stuff, and just having him next to White on the right side will be a big boost for us.
The Rockets have won the last 4 games, but so defensively, when you guys have studied that, what has stood out over this stretch?
The number one thing is turnovers. They've forced, I think it's like 12 turnovers in that stretch, so they're huge in the turnover margin, and I think that's something Coach stresses all the time is, if you win the turnover margin, your record goes way better. But they're playing good. You look at like some of the advanced EPA stats and stuff, they're still technically ranked last, but if you look at the last 5 games, they're like top 5 or top 10. In the league, so they've done a lot of good things. They have a solid front, and their corners and their DBs can really cover well too.
You guys do that, strip sack drill during camp where you're jumping on the loose balls on the pads and stuff like that. Earlier this year, Wyatt jumped on one that saved the game for you. Just how cognizant going against a team that's real aggressive at ripping the ball out to you as an offensive lineman have to be, and as far as making sure that you're seeing that football go where it needs to go.
Right. We're hopefully focused on protecting, so our guys aren't ones forcing fumbles and making those plays. But if it does ever happen, like you said, we've learned to slide into it, cradle it. White did a great example of taking care of the ball. Hopefully you're never in that position. You know what I mean? I think one time a few years ago I tried to pick it up against the Jets when it wasn't legal to advance the ball, you know what I mean? So I've learned my lesson. You probably won't see me doing that anymore. But no, we want to protect the ball, and I think that's always one of our goals on offense is not turn the ball over.
But Joe, just how do you think the offense, DTR by himself, and then the offense can grow as he gets more experience, right? Start to reform.
Yeah, I think last week we tried to play on top. We tried to get the ball out of his hands. We knew they had a great rush. And he was, hitting his first or second read most of the times. And I think there's ways you can advance that, take a few more shots downfield, move the pocket a little bit for him and stuff. And like I said, Pittsburgh's defense is so edge-based, and they try and contain everything inside that it's really a tough defense to do that against. But I think we can grow as a group, and he has a lot of experience, playing football. If you look at his, college numbers and stuff like that. But I think anytime you get in there and you get comfortable, like, he hasn't had that many opportunities to throw the ball to Coop and Elijah and those guys, when you're working with the second or third team. So just growing like that, and he's learning. But he's very comfortable in the huddle. Like, he has a confidence about himself. So all those things are positive. I think the more experience he gets, the more he can improve.
Do you see him in practice a little bit? Like, this is the second full week of practice with the ones. Like, do you just see him kind of growing?
Yeah, no, he's he's correcting things. He's making sure we're in the right spot. If we're not, sometimes you have a bad shift on a Wednesday or Thursday because we're just putting things in or wrong formation, and he's getting us back in the huddle and making those things, making those corrections. So he's really focused, and I think that's the main thing I saw last week is just how focused he was in the meetings and in the walkthroughs and things like that.
Joel, just a real quick culture question for you. Ask Myles this, and had an interesting perspective. A lot of times when you hear about teams talk about brotherhood, it's a little bit more of like a college thing. You don't get that so much at the professional level.
Yeah.
You guys have talked a lot about how much you seem to genuinely like each other. How much did that come naturally? How much have you guys had to work that?
I think when you can keep a general manager, a head coach, coaching staff together, you get to keep more of the core players, you know what I mean? And so since Andrew Berry's been here, you get the Myles, you get, the Wyatts, you get guys that have been along for 4 years now that can grow together and build together. And when you have those friendships, you bring other people into it. Then you go to the Greenbrier and you kind of have to hang out with each other. It grows into a culture. And then the offense talks about it a lot where, you play for the guy next to you. You got a left tackle next to you, you got a center next to you. Like, you can't let those guys down. And so it kind of builds in a brotherhood. But then when you start winning these close games and you start seeing the defense, get a pick six to help us improve and win a game, you just build it together and you realize, like, hey, we got to do this together. It's never going to come easy. But if the offense steps up once, the defense steps up, special teams steps up once, it's special, and you can feel the group growing tighter and tighter together.
Just a couple more. Did it almost almost give a little bit of a sort of a Jacoby vibe. You know, when he was here, he brought so much mentorship, so much wisdom and experience. Do you guys have some of that now?
Yeah, he's only, this is his first real week here, so we're still getting to know him. But he definitely has experience, and he definitely has that mentorship. And from what I've seen in the meeting room and stuff, he's a guy that they can bounce questions off of and stuff. And he's more than willing to talk. He makes me feel a little bit young around here, so that's a positive. I think he's 38 now, 5 kids. That's a guy that's experienced a lot. So it's definitely been good to our room, and I know those guys are excited. We're excited to have him. Sweet, thanks guys.
Thank you.